Hello, and welcome to today's short podcast. In this episode, we'll be talking about food and dining etiquette. Dining etiquette refers to the accepted social behavior and manners that people follow while eating in different cultures. It's not just about what food you eat, but how you eat it and how you interact with others at the table. This can vary greatly from country to country. So let's take a closer look at the role food plays in social life and how we can use proper dining etiquette in different situations. Let's start by talking about some basic table manners that are common around the world. In many Western countries, it's considered polite to keep your elbows off the table while eating. You should place your hands on your lap when you're not using them, especially in formal settings. This is a sign of respect and shows that you're paying attention to the meal. Chewing with your mouth closed is another important rule. It's not just about looking neat. It's about showing respect to others while eating. In some cultures, like in Japan, you'll often hear the phrase Itadakimasu before you start eating, which is a way of showing gratitude for the meal. It's similar to saying bon appetit in French, which means enjoy your meal. In fact, in many countries, saying something like this before you start eating is a common practice. It's a polite way to acknowledge the effort that went into preparing the food. Now, let's take a look at how food plays a role in social gatherings. Food is not just about eating, it's also about bringing people together. For example, in many Mediterranean cultures, meals are often long, social events where family and friends sit together to enjoy food, talk, and share stories. You might hear someone say dig in when they want everyone to start eating. It's a casual way of inviting others to begin. In contrast, in countries like the United States, meals might be quicker, and it's common to ask, "Can I get you anything else?" to show hospitality. But you should be careful to say thank you when you're offered food or drink, as expressing gratitude is always appreciated, no matter where you are. When you're eating in a more formal setting, like at a restaurant or at a business dinner, you may need to follow more specific etiquette. For example, using the right fork and knife is important. Did you know that there are often different types of forks depending on the type of meal? For example, there's a salad fork, a dinner fork, and even a dessert fork in many formal settings. Using the right utensil at the right time is a sign of good manners. In many cultures, like in India or Ethiopia, eating with your hands is common, especially with traditional dishes. In India, for instance, eating with your right hand is a sign of respect. The left hand is traditionally considered impolite for eating, as it's reserved for other activities. However, even in countries where you typically use utensils, finger foods like sandwiches or fruits are acceptable to eat with your hands. Now, let's move on to some polite expressions that are commonly used during a meal. In the United States and many English-speaking countries, it's common to say please and thank you when you ask for something. If you're offering food, you might say, "Would you like some more?" Or "Can I get you a refill?" These are polite ways to make sure your guests feel comfortable. It's also polite to offer a toast if you're at a celebratory meal, such as a wedding or a holiday. For example, you might raise your glass and say, "Cheers," or "To good health." In other countries, like in China, when offering a toast, it's common to stand up and say a few words to show respect to the people at the table. It's also polite to offer the drink to someone with both hands, especially if they are of higher status or older than you. In Russia, toasts are often part of the meal, and it's considered impolite to refuse a drink when someone offers you one. Passing food is another part of dining etiquette that can vary. In some cultures, it's polite to pass food counterclockwise, while in others, the direction doesn't matter. For example, in Mexico, it's typical to pass food in a counterclockwise direction, while in many Western cultures, it's just a matter of preference. Now, let's talk about some food-related vocabulary that can be helpful when talking about dining etiquette. For example, if you're offering someone food, you can say, "Help yourself." This is a casual way of inviting someone to take food, often used when offering snacks or when eating with friends. If someone doesn't want any more food, they might say, "I'm full," or "I couldn't eat another bite." If you're attending a formal dinner and you want to say something nice about the food, you can say, "This looks delicious," or "Everything tastes amazing." To express satisfaction, you can say, "I'm enjoying this meal," or "This is very tasty." Finally, let's talk about table settings. A formal table setting often includes a cloth napkin, several types of glasses for water, wine, and possibly other drinks, and multiple forks, knives, and spoons for different courses. At less formal meals, such as a casual family dinner, there might only be a dinner plate, a soup spoon, and a water glass. However, the important thing to remember is that no matter the setting, good manners and respect for others are always the key elements of dining etiquette. So, whether you're eating in a restaurant, at a family gathering, or in a formal business dinner, remembering the basic etiquette rules and polite expressions can help make the meal more enjoyable for everyone. Food is an essential part of social life, and good dining etiquette is a great way to show respect to those around you. Now, let's quickly review some of the key vocabulary we discussed today. 1. Polite, behaving in a respectful and considerate way. It's polite to say please and thank you when you're offered food. 2. Etiquette, the formal rules of polite behavior. Every culture has its own set of etiquette for dining. 3. Gratitude, a feeling of thankfulness and appreciation. Saying Itadakimasu in Japan is a way of showing gratitude before you start your meal. 4. Toast, a ritual in which people raise their glasses and say words of goodwill. At the wedding, everyone gave a toast to the bride and groom. 5. Counterclockwise, moving in the opposite direction to the hands of a clock. In Mexico, it's polite to pass food counterclockwise. 6. Help yourself, an invitation for someone to take food or drink freely. When I offered her some snacks, she smiled and said, "Help yourself." Great job. And remember, knowing these key words will help you have better conversations about food and dining etiquette. Enjoy your next meal, and don't forget to use your new vocabulary. That's all for today's podcast on food and dining etiquette. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.